The unexpected rescue, the planet Galira, was not safe for humans, and everyone knew it. Wild forests, strange animals, and dangerous weather. No human dared to walk alone. But Jack, a young human explorer, was never afraid of a little risk. He loved adventure, and today, he wanted to explore the blue forests on the edge of the alien city. Jack checked his scanner and looked up at the tall, glowing trees. The forest floor was covered in blue moss that felt soft under his boots. He smiled, thinking about all the stories he could tell his friends back on Earth. For a moment, everything was calm. But then, he heard something strange, a scream. It was not a human voice. It sounded musical, almost like a song mixed with fear. Jack stopped and listened. The scream came again, a little closer this time. His heart began to race. He could run away, but Jack was curious. He took a deep breath and moved toward the sound. Pushing through the thick plants, Jack soon found a small clearing. There, surrounded by 3 wild beast creatures, was an alien girl. She was young, with pale purple skin, long silver hair, and big golden eyes filled with terror. Her clothes were torn, and she was backing up against a tree, holding a broken branch as a weapon. The beasts were huge, with green scales and long, sharp claws. They circled the girl, growling, ready to attack. Jack knew he had to do something. If he didn't help, she would not survive. Jack picked up a heavy stick and shouted, "Hey, over here!" The beasts turned toward him, surprised. One of them roared and ran at Jack, its mouth wide open. Jack felt fear for the first time, but he remembered his training. He waited until the last second, then jumped to the side and swung the stick as hard as he could. The beast howled in pain. The other 2 beasts left the girl and rushed toward Jack. He ran around the clearing, trying to stay out of reach. He threw a rock at one beast, hitting its eye. It screamed and stopped, confused. The last beast chased Jack, but he tricked it by ducking behind a tree. The alien girl saw her chance and threw her broken branch at the beast's head. It hit the beast, making it angry, but also distracted. Jack grabbed the girl's hand. "Run!" he shouted. They ran together, deeper into the forest. The beasts chased them for a short time, but the forest was too thick. Soon, Jack and the alien girl reached a river. They jumped across the stones, splashing water everywhere. The beasts couldn't follow and finally gave up. Jack and the girl stopped, out of breath, on the other side of the river. The girl fell to her knees, tears in her eyes. Jack knelt beside her, trying to catch his breath. He looked at her, worried. "Are you hurt?" he asked gently. The girl shook her head but couldn't speak. She was still shaking from fear. Jack took off his jacket and placed it around her shoulders. "You're safe now," he said softly. "My name is Jack." Slowly, the girl calmed down. She looked at Jack with big, grateful eyes. "I am Lyra," she whispered. Her voice was soft and musical, but her words were clear. Jack smiled, trying to make her feel better. "You're very brave, Lyra. Most people would have run away." Lyra shook her head. "I was afraid," she admitted. "But thank you. You saved my life." Jack felt awkward. He wasn't used to being called a hero. Anyone would have done the same, he said, but deep inside, he knew it wasn't true. Suddenly, there was movement in the trees. Jack jumped up, ready to protect Lyra again. But it was not a beast this time. It was a group of aliens from the city. They had seen the fight and had followed the 2. The aliens whispered among themselves, staring at Jack and Lyra. One of the older aliens stepped forward. He wore special robes and had a golden crest on his head. He looked serious as he spoke to Lyra in their own language. Jack didn't understand the words, but he could feel the tension in the air. Lyra's eyes grew wide with shock. She turned to Jack, her face pale. "There is a law here," she said quietly, almost in a whisper. "On my world, when someone saves your life, you must belong to them. It is an old rule, but it cannot be broken. Jack stared at her, confused. What does that mean? It means. Lyra hesitated, looking down. I must stay with you. I am yours now by our law. Everyone here saw it. Jack's mind raced. He had only wanted to help, but now everything was changing. The group of aliens surrounded them, some with happy faces, some with angry looks. Jack realized he had started something he did not understand. The adventure he wanted was now much bigger and much more dangerous than he ever imagined. The sun began to set behind the blue trees, casting long shadows. Jack and Lyra stood side by side, surrounded by curious, watching eyes. No one knew what would happen next, but one thing was certain: nothing would ever be the same again. The alien law. As the sun dipped behind the blue trees, Jack and Lyra stood surrounded by the silent crowd of aliens. The weight of the strange law pressed on Jack's shoulders. He could feel everyone watching him, some with curiosity, some with suspicion. He wondered if coming to this planet was a mistake. The elder alien with the golden crest stepped closer. His deep, booming voice echoed in the clearing. The law of life bond must be respected. The human has saved our daughter Lyra. By our traditions, she now belongs to him. Jack looked at Lyra, searching for answers in her eyes. She looked embarrassed and afraid. For a moment, she tried to speak, but her voice caught in her throat. The elder pointed his staff at Jack, and the crowd murmured. Jack felt trapped. I don't want to own anyone, he said firmly. I just wanted to help. Lyra nodded, tears shining on her cheeks. Please, she said to the elder in her own language, let me explain to him. He doesn't understand our ways. The elder studied Jack, then turned and led the crowd back toward the city. Only a few young aliens remained, whispering and staring. Lyra and Jack were left alone beside the river, the air suddenly cold and quiet. Lyra wrapped Jack's jacket tighter around her shoulders. I am sorry, she whispered. My people, they are very old, and so are their rules. When someone saves a life, the rescued person must become a part of the Savior's family. Sometimes it means becoming their partner, sometimes their servant. It depends on the family's wish. Jack shook his head, confused and frustrated. I don't want you to be my servant or my... He stopped, embarrassed. That's not how humans do things. We help because it's right. Lyra smiled sadly. I wish my people understood that. But to them, law is law. If we break it, we both could be punished. Jack stared at the dark water of the river. He could hear the distant howls of the beasts they'd escaped. What happens now? He asked. Lyra hesitated, her fingers trembling. Tonight, we must go to my family's house. There, the council will decide our fate. If I refuse to belong to you, or if you refuse to accept me, we will both be sent away from this world. Banished forever. Jack's heart thudded in his chest. He never wanted trouble. He wanted discovery, not danger. He watched Lyra, who seemed so strong a few minutes ago, now small and helpless. Suddenly, 3 young aliens appeared from the shadows. One was tall, with blue skin and angry eyes. He pointed at Jack. You think you can just take her? She is one of us, not your property. His friends shouted. Leave our world, human. Jack took a step back, but Lyra stepped in front of him. Stop, he saved my life. I owe him by law, but I am not anyone's prize. The tall alien spat at Jack's feet. The law is a chain. We are not animals. Someday, we will break it. But until then, you will not touch her. Jack tried to stay calm, but his hands balled into fists. I didn't ask for this. I just did what was right. If you're angry, blame the monsters, not me. The 3 young aliens glared at him, then turned and walked away, whispering to others as they went. Jack could feel their hate burning into his back. Lyra pulled Jack by the hand. Come, My house is not far. The council will be waiting. Please, whatever happens, don't argue with them. They are powerful, and they don't like humans much. They walked through the city's glowing streets. Everywhere, aliens stared and pointed, doors closed and windows filled with eyes. Jack's legs felt heavy. He didn't want to cause trouble for Lyra, but he couldn't run away now. Finally, they reached a tall building covered in shining stones. Lyra's parents waited at the door, faces serious and cold. Her mother wore a long silver dress and barely looked at Jack. Her father nodded stiffly. You will come inside. The council is waiting. Inside, the room was large and full of important-looking aliens. The elder sat in the center, his golden crest catching the firelight. The council members began to speak, each voice full of authority. Human, you have changed the life of one of our own, said the elder. By law, Lyra now belongs to you. Will you accept this responsibility? Jack looked around. Every eye was on him. He wanted to say no, to explain, but then he saw Lyra's worried face. If he refused, she would be punished too. He took a deep breath. If this is your law, I will respect it. But I do not want a slave. I want a friend. A wave of whispers went through the council. Some looked shocked, others curious. The elder spoke again. A friend? This is not our way. Jack stood tall, his voice clear. Then maybe your people can learn from mine. On Earth, saving someone means friendship and trust, not ownership. The council was silent. Lyra squeezed Jack's hand. For a moment, hope shined in her eyes. Maybe, just maybe, things could change. But as the meeting ended, the elder gave a warning. You are under our law. If you break it, you both will suffer. Jack and Lyra were led to a small guest room for the night. As they sat in the quiet, Jack looked at Lyra. Don't worry, he said softly. We'll find a way out of this. Together. Lyra smiled, her eyes wet with tears, but this time, there was hope behind them. The world outside was still dangerous, the future uncertain, but now at least they were not alone. The new bond that night, the alien city outside Jack's window glowed with 1,000 blue lights. Jack and Lyra sat quietly in the small guest room, neither able to sleep. The room felt cold and unfamiliar, with smooth walls and soft humming. Lamps. Lyra stared at the ceiling, her hands twisting Jack's borrowed jacket in her lap. Jack gazed at the alien stars, wondering what tomorrow would bring. When dawn came, a gentle chime rang through the room. The door slid open, and an old alien woman entered, carrying a tray of food. She set it on the table and studied Jack for a moment before speaking to Lyra. Jack couldn't understand her words, but Lyra nodded and replied quietly. The woman left without another glance. Jack picked up a strange fruit, bright purple and shaped like a star. Is it safe? He asked. Lyra smiled a little. Yes, this is moon fruit. It tastes sweet. Here, try it. She handed him a piece. Jack took a bite and was surprised by the cool, sugary taste. For a moment, they both laughed. It was the first time the room felt a little warmer, but the laughter faded quickly. Lyra's eyes dropped. The council will talk again today. They want to see if we follow the rules. If we do not act like we belong together, they might send us away. Or worse, punish my family. Jack's heart sank. So we have to pretend? Lyra shook her head. Not just pretend. In my culture, a life bond is more than a rule. We must show respect and care for each other. If they think you are just using me, or if I seem afraid, the council will know. Jack nodded slowly. I don't want to get you in trouble. I promise I'll do my best. They left the guest room and walked through the twisting halls of Lyra's home. The building was full of strange art-shining orbs, paintings of swirling galaxies, and statues shaped like dancing flames. Lyra paused by one statue, a mother and child holding hands. This is the meaning of family here, she said quietly. Not just blood, but trust. Outside, neighbors watched as Jack and Lyra passed. Some smiled kindly, others turned away, whispering to each other. One small alien child ran up and handed Lyra a blue flower. For the new bond. The child cheered. Before running off again, Jack knelt to smell the flower. Even the kids know the law, he joked. Lyra's lips curved into a real smile this time. Yes, but children have kinder hearts. They reached the main square, where the council elders were waiting. The golden-crested elder raised a hand. You must show your bond before the people, he declared. Share a meal, speak of your past, and answer questions. The bond must be real. A crowd gathered as Jack and Lyra sat at a table in the center. The council asked simple questions first. How Jack saved Lyra, why he risked his life. Jack told the story honestly, saying, I saw someone in danger. I couldn't walk away. That's what humans do. Lyra told them how she had felt fear at first, but then saw Jack's kindness. He gave me his jacket, even though he was cold. He spoke gently. He did not ask for a reward. The crowd listened. Some nodded, but a few elders remained stiff, arms crossed. Then the jealous young alien from before, the one with blue skin and angry eyes, stepped forward. He is an outsider. He shouted, how do we know he truly cares for her? Maybe he saved her only to use her for himself. Jack's face turned red, but Lyra stood up bravely. No one owns me, she said. Loudly, not even Jack. I choose to honor the law, but I am not a prize to be won. The council fell silent. The elder leaned forward. Do you accept the bond, human? Not as a rule, but with respect? Jack took Lyra's hand in front of everyone. Yes, not because I have to, but because I want to help her, learn from her, and protect her as a friend. The elder nodded. But the jealous alien wasn't finished. If he truly cares, let him face our test, the walk of trust. The crowd gasped. Jack glanced at Lyra, who whispered, it's an old tradition. You must cross the sky bridge above the city, with me at your side. If you fall, the bond is broken. The bridge was high, thin, and swayed with the wind. Below, the city shimmered, and the ground was very far away. Jack's legs shook, but he remembered Lyra's words. Trust. Lyra held his hand, steady and warm. Don't look down, trust me. Step by step, they crossed the shaking bridge. The crowd watched in breathless silence. A gust of wind made the bridge lurch, but Lyra squeezed Jack's hand tighter. He trusted her, and they made it to the other side together. Cheers broke out. The council smiled, even the toughest elders. That day, something changed in the city. For the first time, some aliens looked at Jack not as an enemy, but as a true friend. And for Jack and Lyra, their bond was no longer just a rule. It was something real, something chosen, and something strong. Enough to face whatever came next. The hostile council as sunlight faded and the city's glowing lanterns flickered to life. Jack and Lyra returned to her family's house. Inside, the mood was heavy. Lyra's father paced by the window, watching groups of aliens gathering in the street. Jack sensed trouble brewing, and Lyra felt it too. Her eyes kept drifting to the door, as if expecting bad news at any moment. Dinner was quiet. Lyra's mother offered Jack a bowl of fragrant soup, but he barely tasted it. Whispers echoed from outside, growing louder with each passing minute. Suddenly, 3 elders from the council, including the golden-crested leader, arrived at the door with several city guards. Lyra's mother stood to greet them, but the elders brushed past her, eyes fixed on Jack and Lyra. The living room filled with tension. We must speak, said the golden-crested elder. His voice left no room for argument. The council has called an emergency hearing. Within minutes, Jack and Lyra were led to the city's central hall. The space was crowded. Curious citizens filled every seat. The jealous young alien Varek stood near the council, his arms folded, eyes cold and sharp. Jack realized this was more than a meeting. It was a trial. The golden-crested elder stood at the center. "Let all hear," he called. "Tonight we judge the bond between the human Jack and our daughter Lyra. Is it true? Is it safe for our people?" Varek stepped forward, his voice loud and angry. "He is a stranger. He knows nothing of our ways. He brings danger to our city. Lyra belongs with her people, not with him." Murmurs rippled through the crowd. Some nodded in agreement. Others looked worried. Jack swallowed hard. He spoke clearly, but his voice trembled a little. "I never wanted to break your traditions. I only did what was right, saving someone in need." An older female council member leaned forward, eyes sharp. "But the law must protect us all. What if others follow your example? What if our daughters are lost to strangers?" Lyra stepped forward, her voice shaking but strong. "No law can force a heart. Jack did not ask for me. He saved me because he is good. He is not a danger, he is a friend." Another council member, old and wise-looking, raised his hand. "Words are easy. Trust must be earned. Let us ask the people." The crowd was invited to speak. Some told stories of humans who brought new ideas and healed the sick. Others complained that outsiders changed too much, too fast. The city felt divided, fear and hope fighting in every voice. Suddenly, Varek shouted, "If he wants to keep her, let him prove his worth. Let him face the trial of guardians." The council whispered among themselves. The golden-crested elder turned to Jack. In ancient times, a new family member would prove their strength, wisdom, and loyalty. If you succeed, the law accepts your bond. If you fail, you must leave alone. Lyra will remain here, never to see you again. Jack felt the weight of 1,000 eyes. He turned to Lyra, who squeezed his hand, her face pale but determined. "I trust you," she whispered. Jack nodded. "I accept the challenge." The council agreed. The trial would begin at dawn. As Jack and Lyra left the hall, people argued in the streets. Some cheered for Jack, others muttered threats. Jack wondered if any human had ever been so close to changing an alien law. Back at Lyra's house, her parents hugged her tightly. Her mother whispered, "Be careful, daughter. The city is frightened. The old ways do not change easily." Jack sat with Lyra by the window, listening to the distant sounds of drums and voices rising into the night. He knew tomorrow would be the hardest day of his life. But as he looked at Lyra, he felt a new strength inside him, stronger than fear, stronger than any law. He would not give up. Not now. The night passed slowly. In the quiet hours before dawn, Lyra brought Jack a small silver charm, a family symbol of courage. She tied it around his wrist. "For luck," she whispered, her voice trembling. As the city's first morning light shone through the clouds, Jack walked with Lyra to the council arena. The square was packed with citizens and council elders. The golden-crested elder raised his staff. "Let the trial of guardians begin." No one knew what dangers awaited Jack in the ancient test. But as he stepped forward, he held his head high, the silver charm shining on his wrist and Lyra's trust steady in his heart. Today, he would prove himself not just to the council, but to the whole world watching. The dangerous challenge. The city square was filled with a tense silence as Jack stepped into the center. Aliens crowded every balcony and window, whispering about the human who dared to face the ancient trial of guardians. Lyra stood just outside the circle, her eyes shining with worry and hope. The silver charm she'd given Jack felt cool against his skin, a small comfort in a world that seemed set against him. The golden-crested elder stood before the crowd. "Let the trial begin," he announced. "Strength, wisdom, and loyalty, these 3 tests will decide if the bond is true." First came the test of strength. From the shadows, 2 city guards rolled out a heavy stone block, almost as big as Jack himself. "To protect Lyra, you must show you can defend," the elder explained. "Lift the stone above your head or admit defeat," Jack gulped. He had never lifted something so heavy, but the crowd was already watching, waiting for him to fail. He knelt beside the stone, feeling its rough, cold surface. For a moment, he closed his eyes and remembered why he was here, not for a prize, but to protect a friend. He took a deep breath, gripped the stone, and using all his strength and the right technique, slowly rolled it onto its side. He couldn't lift it over his head, but he surprised everyone by using leverage and a long stick to raise one edge higher than his shoulders. The crowd gasped. The council whispered. The elder nodded. Not the strongest, but clever. Sometimes brains are better than muscle. Next was the test of wisdom. The council placed a strange puzzle in front of Jack. 3 colored stones, 5 wooden sticks, and a bowl of water. The challenge: build something that floats and keeps the stones dry. Vorek, the jealous alien, sneered from the edge. "Let's see how smart the human really is." Jack looked at the pieces, thinking hard. He remembered building toy boats with his brother back on Earth. Slowly he arranged the sticks in a triangle, tied them with grass, and used the bowl as a base. He balanced the stones on top. Carefully, he placed it in the water. The little raft wobbled, but floated. The colored stones stayed dry. The elder examined Jack's creation, a small smile on his face. "You solve problems with your mind and memory. Good." Now came the final and most dangerous test: loyalty. The elder explained, "You must prove you will not abandon Lyra, even in fear." Suddenly, the city guards released a creature from a cage at the far end of the arena. It was a sleek black animal with glowing green eyes, smaller than the beasts Jack fought in the forest, but twice as fast and known for its painful sting. The crowd stepped back in fear. The animal sniffed the ground and spotted Lyra, who stood behind a wooden barrier. Varrock grinned and shouted, "Let's see if the human will run or fight." The creature lunged for Lyra. Jack ran, heart pounding, not thinking of danger, only of Lyra's safety. As the animal jumped, Jack grabbed a loose shield from a nearby guard and threw himself between Lyra and the creature. The animal struck the shield hard, its claws scraping metal, but Jack held on. The crowd shouted, some in fear, some in awe. Animal circled, growling. Jack watched its movements, looking for a chance. As it leaped again, Jack rolled aside, and the creature crashed into the barrier. Lyra threw Jack a rope. Without a second thought, Jack caught it, looped it around the creature's legs, and pulled tight. The animal struggled, then finally gave up, trapped. The square erupted in cheers. Even the elders looked impressed. The golden-crested elder raised his hand. Jack has passed all 3 trials. He is not the strongest, but he is clever. He is not of our people, but he has shown loyalty and courage. The bond stands. Varek stomped away, defeated. Some in the crowd still looked uncertain, but many now clapped and cheered. For the first time, Jack felt like maybe he belonged. Lyra rushed to Jack, hugging him tightly. "You did it," she whispered, tears in her eyes. Jack grinned, exhausted, but happy. "I would do it again, for you." The council declared, "From this day, Jack and Lyra's bond is recognized by law. Let none challenge it." But as Jack caught his breath and the crowd slowly left, he saw the elders speaking quietly together. Something about their faces made him uneasy. The trials were over, but Jack could sense another challenge was coming, one that could change the city forever. Breaking the chains the next morning, a quiet calm hung over the city, but Jack felt a storm brewing under the surface. The trials were finished. Jack had won the respect of many, but something still felt wrong, like the chains of the old law were tighter than ever. Lyra's family home was full of visitors, both friends and strangers. Some brought gifts of blue flowers, wishing Lyra and Jack well. Others left silent warnings. Cold stares, angry whispers, and notes slipped under the door. He will never be one of us, read one. Another, the law keeps us safe. Don't change it. Jack noticed Lyra was restless. She moved from window to window, eyes on the city square. They're afraid, she said softly. Afraid of what will happen if the old rules break. Jack nodded. Are you afraid? Lyra shook her head, then paused. I'm not afraid. For myself. I'm afraid for you, the council. They don't trust humans. The trials were only the beginning. Later that day, the golden-crested elder sent a message. The council was meeting again, and Jack and Lyra must attend. Lyra's father squeezed her hand as they left. You have more courage than any council elder, he said. We are proud of you. At the city hall, the council chamber was crowded, but not with cheering citizens. This time, the room was filled with anxious elders, important families, and a few angry voices demanding the law be enforced, no matter what Jack had done. The golden-crested elder stood slowly. We have seen the humans' courage, but our laws have kept us safe for generations. Change is dangerous. Some say the bond is a mistake. An older woman, known for her harsh words, spoke up. If we change the law for one human, what next? Our daughters given away to strangers? Our traditions destroyed? Jack stepped forward. His voice was steady. On Earth, we believe laws should help people, not hurt them. If your law brings pain to Lyra, or to anyone, isn't it time to change? The room murmured in shock. No outsider had ever spoken so boldly. Lyra stood beside Jack, holding his hand tightly. Jack is right, she said. The law should protect us, not turn us into property. I want to choose my own life, not have it decided by fear. A group of young aliens, inspired by Lyra's courage, stepped forward too. We agree, they shouted. We are tired of old chains. Let the council listen to us. But Varek, still bitter from the trials, spoke harshly. If you hate our ways so much, why stay? Maybe you should both leave and take your new ideas with you. The tension grew. The city guards looked uneasy, and Jack could sense things might turn violent. Suddenly, Lyra did something no one expected. She removed the family charm from Jack's wrist and raised it high. If a law must be broken to do what is right, then break it now. I will not be forced to belong to anyone, not even Jack. If I stay with him, it will be because I choose him freely. The whole hall went silent. The golden-crested elder looked troubled. He spoke to the council in their own language, words quick and nervous. After a long pause, he addressed everyone. We will vote today now. Should the law change? Should bonds be by choice, not chains? The elders debated loudly, each voice desperate to be heard. For the first time, younger voices were included. The debate lasted hours. Jack and Lyra sat together, holding hands, watching the city's fate hang in the balance dot. As evening came, the golden-crested elder returned. His eyes were tired, but his voice was steady. The vote is finished. It was close, but the council has decided. From this day, no person will be forced to belong to their rescuer. All bonds must be by choice. Gasps and cheers echoed in the hall. Some elders wept with anger, others with relief. Jack hugged Lyra, and she laughed a real, bright laugh that filled the whole chamber. But even in celebration, Jack saw Varek slip away, his eyes burning with new plans. Change had come, but peace was still fragile. That night, the city celebrated with glowing lanterns and music in the streets. Lyra's family welcomed Jack as their own, not by law, but by love. Young aliens cheered for Lyra's bravery, telling her she was the real hero. For the first time, Lyra felt truly free. She chose to stay with Jack not because of any law, but because her heart had made its own decision. Together, they watched the lights dance above the city, wondering what new adventures tomorrow would bring. True belonging, the sun rose slowly over the city of blue trees. painting everything with soft golden light. For the first time since Jack's arrival, the city felt peaceful. Birds with rainbow wings sang outside Lyra's window. She woke up, smiling, feeling lighter than ever. The old law was gone. Now every bond would be made by choice, not by force. Jack was already awake, standing on the balcony. He looked at the alien city, watching as families gathered in the square. Today was a day of celebration. A new festival had begun, one that honored freedom and courage. Lyra joined Jack, wrapping a shawl around her shoulders. "Last night I dreamed of flying," she said softly. "No more chains, no more fear." Jack smiled at her. "We did this together. Not just for us, but for everyone in this city." Below them, children ran with blue flowers and lanterns. Music echoed through the streets. People danced and hugged. Even some of the oldest elders smiled for the first time in years. As the day went on, the city prepared for a special ceremony. The golden-crested elder, now looking older and wiser, called all families to the council hall. For the first time, everyone was invited: elders, young aliens, and humans alike. Inside the hall, the elder raised his staff. "This day, we honor those who changed our hearts," he said. He turned to Lyra and Jack, who stood together before the crowd. "Lyra, by your courage, you showed us that laws must change with time. Jack, by your kindness and bravery, you became more than a guest, you became family." He handed them each a simple silver ring. "These are not chains, but symbols of respect and freedom. Wear them if you choose." Jack slid the ring onto his finger, looking at Lyra. She did the same. There was no need for words. Both knew the bond between them was real. Chosen from the heart. Suddenly, Varek stepped forward from the crowd. Everyone held their breath, unsure what he would do. But instead of anger, Varek bowed his head. "I was afraid of change," he said, "but now I see freedom makes us stronger. I hope you both find happiness." The crowd clapped and cheered. The air was full of hope and forgiveness. After the ceremony, Jack and Lyra walked through the city, hand in hand. Everywhere they went, people greeted them warmly. Children giggled and followed, asking Jack questions about Earth. Lyra's friends hugged her, calling her the girl who broke the chains. Later, as the sky turned pink with sunset, Jack and Lyra sat beside the river where they'd first met. The water sparkled in the light, and the trees swayed gently above them. Lyra looked at Jack, her voice soft. "I'm not yours because of the law. I'm yours because I choose you." Jack squeezed her hand. "And I choose you too. Not because I saved you, but because you changed my life." The city behind them was full of laughter and music, but for Jack and Lyra, the world felt quiet and safe. They both knew their journey wasn't over. There would be new challenges, new adventures, and maybe even new worlds to explore together. But now, they faced everything as equals. Their bond was built on trust, respect, and the freedom to choose. Above, the first stars appeared, shining over a city forever changed by the courage of one girl and the kindness of one human. And as Jack and Lyra watched those stars, they knew they truly belonged not by law, but by love.